Good evening and welcome to In the North Bank, where we are the big Sunday show. This is the big show of the week, really. It's been around for a very long time. I have got some great guests with me who are going to share their knowledge about football and Arsenal. So let me do my introductions. Let's start with Mark. Hello, Mark. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I think I'm good. I'm like still a bit down after yesterday, but great to be on and great to have you hosting, bro.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate the opportunity, and also hopefully this will cheer you up, eh?
Oh,
And then we're going to go down to Richard. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
Not too bad. A bit knackered, cooking Sunday roast and then putting it all in the dishwasher. But looking forward to this.
Maybe I should have called you Judy. And Bez, how you doing, mate?
I'm great, but not. I'm sorry, good but not great. Really good but not great.
Okay. Well, hopefully this will cheer you up as well. And obviously, I am Des the Enforcer. I'm your host this evening. Hope you enjoy the show. If you would please leave us a like, a share, all the housework. Do all that for us. We would appreciate it because we need it for the algorithm. And we just want to make this channel and this community even bigger. Right. So yesterday, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. So I think we'll do it slightly different tonight so we can cover a few more topics if that's okay, because we all know what happened. I would like you to give me your thoughts on the whole match. Okay, we'll start with that. And I think I've got to start with Mark because he's smiling at me. So Mark, go ahead, bro.
How to really start? Like start of the game. I actually predicted that when I heard the news that Saliba was out, that Timber would come in, and Thomas Partey would be a right back. Now that wouldn't be my preference at all. We do Thomas Partey in the midfield. We win a lot more games than what we do when he's up right back. So that I predicted that Arteta would go down the lines of that, which for me was unfortunate. However, I felt Arsenal played really well, and we get the goal through to Trossard. Actually, I thought for starting the game had a great game. I've given the guy a bit of stick in recent weeks. I thought he had a brilliant game. Puts the ball in for Martinelli, and Martinelli takes his chance, and Martinez fumbles and it goes in. And Arsenal 1-0 up. They're controlling the game. I didn't feel like we were under any threat from Villa. I felt everything was going well. And then Havertz gets his goal. And I couldn't be more happier after everything the fan base done to his wife, etc. I could be more happier that Havertz got his goal. And I'm thinking, yes, we're in. We've done it. We've got through this period. Because I don't know we'll touch on that. I'll just stay on the game. But yeah, so I'm thinking, yes, we're there. We've done it. Tielemans scores an absolute brilliant goal. His movement was unbelievable. He scores a brilliant goal, brilliant diving header. I've got to give him credit. And then you're nervous again. We're sitting back.
Yeah,
and obviously, and then Ollie Watkins gets his goal. And you're just thinking, oh, please Arsenal, just get past this match here. And we will go into it later, but then we get the opportunity and Havertz scores, and I'm like, you beauty! I'm jumping all over my house. I'm so excited. We've done it, etc. And it's still looking back. I know this will be a talking point for everybody, but I've watched it so many times back, and I still do not know how that goal could be chopped off.
Yeah.
So that kind of sums up like everything. And I had Des, if I'm being honest, I'll keep it short, but I was deflated. It came when you're watching along at the very end, and like my energy levels had just collapsed. So
you were flat. I'm sorry, but you were flat. I could feel it. I could feel it in you. I could feel it in your bones, mate, when you came on for the last little bit of the watch along. So I've got to say thank you for doing that, because that would have took quite a lot for you. I appreciate that. All right, so thanks for doing that. It added to the show. It's all good, mate. Do you want to say anything else? Sorry, because
no, that's it. No.
Yeah, you cool. Yeah. Now, right. Okay. I'm going to leave mine till last. So, Richard, tell me your thoughts, mate, and you can be as in depth as you want to be. Take it away, mate.
Well, I mean, I was listening to you for quite a bit of watch along, and I thought we were watching two different matches, because I thought we controlled the game really well, and there was a definite period after Villa equalised where we were just holding on, but I think we defended well. We took up the two big chances we had well. Again, like Mark said with the Havertz one, I'm just not sure whether they looked at whether that hit his body before it hit his hand, or they just looked for the handball and didn't bother just telling whether it hit his body first. But I mean, I've got some stats to back up what I think I saw on the field tilt. I mean, we pressed them more than I predicted. It was every 5 passes we went and pressed the ball to their 13. Our defensive action was at 54%, which means we were just over the halfway line when we were defending. We had 6 high turnovers to their 1. Most of the stats were in our favour. We had a 90% build-up completion, 16 deep entries, of 86% field tilt. I mean, Declan Rice said 100% pass accuracy, 100% tackles won, 100% ground duels won, 4 crosses attempted, all 4 completed, 1 interception. We're going on to Leandro Trossard. Those 2 assists means that he's now got 4 assists this season, and he's only behind Saka. And Martinelli's goal means that since he's joined, only Saka has scored more goals than him since he joined the club.
Is that it? Are you done? Yeah, you're happy?
Yeah.
Right, Bez.
Happy,
I obviously want to give your breakdown of the game. Yeah, that's fine. But also, because you were actually at the match, could you tell us all how it felt or how the atmosphere was? You know, just break that down for us as well as what you think about the match as well, please, mate.
I'll be happy to do that. The best way I know to say it. I'll say this: before the game was crisp air, very cold, very damp, very chilly. But it was a football game, you have to be ready for it, come rain or shine, or snow, where snow is now, It felt good, I like the new pre-match atmosphere. I know he's got the fireworks now. It feels very special to be at Emirates as a home stadium. I can tell you the pre-match as it is. I'll tell you the atmosphere felt good. The team corresponded, I think, to the fans singing. But I guess we started so well. We did so well. I'm saying first 11, bear in mind, first of all. First 11 looked good. We looked hungry. We looked like, positive football, moving around, doing their thing. Then comes second half, something changed. And I feel like, we shot ourselves in the foot a bit. Like the way we came across didn't... Like we put so much singing voice behind them, Everything was there. Yes, that decision for the, so-called handball. For me, from what I see, it probably is a handball. But I just think technically it didn't strike him there, Referee says there, like on the video, he does this. I get that part. But when all decisions went against us in the game, like a lot of them, and nothing against, Rodgers of Aston Villa, but he should be sent off. All those, talking back to the referee, fouling our players, I feel like, man, simply be all the time when it's big decisions, always get checked out. We're always the ones who actually, on the receiving end of it. Now it feels like if it's a yellow, we get the yellow first, or we get the red card first, and the other team just gets, the benefit of the doubt. And then we get told by these away fans, also say if we're at home, the away fans, same old Arsenal always cheating. I feel like, sure, but your team gets away with murder, yet somehow, it doesn't correspond well in my eyes, the way, these things come across. I personally think the bench could have been utilized a bit better, because I know he made one sub. He could have put Zinchenko at least in his favorite position. put Partey up front a bit more, bring Jorginho, bring one of the young lads. You know, there's so many young lads that even Maldini Kasuri from my native country, like he's born here, but I feel like I could have played him. So what? Just even 10 minutes. He's a big lad. He plays like Saliba's level. Okay, I'm not saying for him to play a whole game, but at least 10 minutes. And then he makes the sub at 80 minutes. Des, I was like, that's a joke.
No, it was a joke, my mate. Carry on. You still got more to say?
Overall, I felt drained because, you know, I went to the other two games beside Tottenham and I just felt like Arteta. And I'll say this again, there's no plan B. I'm just disgusted, completely disgusted.
Again, I agree with you. There does not seem to be a plan B. And it's really, I get your pain because it's really, really annoying. Yeah.
Can I take this off? Can I take this off now? I really want to return it back. I've got another 3 weeks to return it back.
It's up to you, mate. Take it off if you want to take it off. I'm not going to stop you. Anyway,
literally, I'll say this: it's not that really black and white. It's not that simple. No, with Arteta's management, it's not that. I mean, I echo Mark.
Well, we're going to go into that in a little bit later, Bez. So we can expand on that then, and also we'll talk about the so-called handball in a minute.
That's
okay,
fine.
but I just want to compare something that you just said. You said you felt flat, and you Mark, the Scottish Brazilian above you, last night. He came onto my watch along, as you may know, right? And Mark didn't have the energy like he's got tonight. I would even say it was less than half. You could just tell he was deflated. Me and Richard try to keep it upbeat because we're doing a show. That's not a knock against you, Mark, by the way. It's just that I could just tell that you were. It's like the wind had been taken out of your sails. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. I'll give my breakdown now of the match. I said before the game that I was worried about this match, and it turned out that I was right, and I hate being right in that way. The first half, like Richard said, he sees it a different way than me, but that's what makes this sort of stuff work, because we see things in a different way. Yeah, I just felt we were flat. We spent too much time in the midfield. Partey should not have been at right back and should never be at right back again. I'm sorry, he shouldn't be. I would have rather have put, and I know this is a bit out there, but I would have rather have put Timber at right back and Declan Rice next to Gabriel. That's what I would have done. I would have put Partey in the midfield because that's the only place you can play. And do you know what? In the first half, Partey would have got maybe a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10. But in the second half, he didn't even deserve a 5. I would have given him a 4. His ball control and passing in the second half were awful. Absolutely awful. So I'm not going to touch on the stuff that we can expand on in a minute. But I kind of knew that Aston Villa were going to... I wasn't surprised by the first goal. Partey wasn't where he should have been. The guy they brought on, I never get his name right, the Digne, that guy, he can cross the ball, right? He can cross the ball. Great goal by Tielemans, right? But if Saliba had been there, I think it would have been a different story. But that's just my opinion. I'll go back a bit because I forgot about Martinelli and Martinelli's goal and Havertz's goal. Martinelli's goal, I was saying to the lads before we came on, Mark and Richard, I missed it first time because I didn't realise that Martinez had gone behind the line. So I had to wait until they show that picture where the ball's behind the line. I mean, goal's a goal, take it. But for me, it was against the run of play. It came out of the blue. We didn't look like we were going to do anything with anything until that point. And then we do what Arsenal do. We go and get 2, which is great. Kai Havertz, good lad. 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again, you know, all that stuff. Right? And then, to be honest, in the second half, we switched off. We totally switched off for their 2 goals. Absolutely switched off. And I'm going to say, because Bez said it, and I know the other lads are annoyed about it, because I want to treat the Merino attempt with Havertz. I want to go bigger on that, boys, if you don't mind. So I'm going to jump to the end of the game, and I think points dropped, definitely points dropped. Still too early to say that the title's over. We've still got a chance. We've still got to. If you've got a chance, you've got to try and grab it. That's all I'll say. But to be quite honest with you, it was hard to do a watch along for this game because you could just see the game changing, and not good. Anyway, let's move on to another subject now, and let's talk about the Marino Havertz goal. Okay, right. So let me start with this. From my point of view, I don't know what angle VAR were looking from because I didn't see a handball. In my opinion, it came off his hip. Also, he was twisting at the time. Plus, even if it had gone up onto his hand, at that speed, there's no way he could have got his hand out of the way. Mark, give us your thoughts, mate.
I agree 100%, and I think you broke it. You broke it game down brilliantly there, bro. And also my feelings as well. But I thought personally, and I'm going to refer back to the Carabao Cup game, Tottenham Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
The ball got hammered in, hits the Tottenham player in the hand, his hands beside his body, and then the goal. Then he passes the ball through in the score. How can you judge that Havertz's hands are in his body? I don't know if it even touches his hand. But even if it does, it was at that speed, the ball's coming up. And as you said, he's twisting. Even if it does even slightly touch his hand, I don't see how you could rule that out. It's not that his hands are like waving over here. They were the over here or whatever. Oh, wow, we've got a guest coming on.
Bring her on, mate. Bring her on. She's more than welcome.
So for me, I didn't. I like, and I'm not doing it with my Arsenal like glasses on here. I actually thought I don't see the consistency or how that could be ruled off. And Richard will go more in depth on this than what, and he'll say it more eloquently than I can as well. If you watch the fucking trajectory of that ball, it changes, it moves the opposite direction. So if it was just a slight deflection off the hand, it would have kept the same trajectory. But it hit Havertz's body and went in the opposite direction, and that's why Martinez couldn't get near it.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it back. It's conflicting because there's Arsenal fans in the group chats, mate, and some are saying, "No, I understand why that wasn't given," etc. I've watched it back, and for me, I'm just if you could give that Tottenham goal, why could you not give that? We just don't seem to be getting the rub of the green, bro.
Mark, inconsistency, bro. Inconsistency.
100%.
Right, gentlemen, manners maketh man. So I'm not avoiding you. I will come back to you in a minute. Good evening, Aisha. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm sitting here in my pajamas and no makeup on, which is why I'm not on camera.
Come on camera. Aisha, we need to see you. Come on camera in your pajamas.
No, there's no way.
I'm sure you're better looking than us. Even
I have got blue pajama bottoms on and an Arsenal hoodie. So I'm in with you in spirit. I'm going to throw something out there here, and you might not agree with me.
Well, Aisha, before you do, can I just say one thing, just quickly? Yeah. Sorry, babe. Because the other lads have done it, can you give us your breakdown of the match from yesterday before you tell us your point, please?
I think personally, the bigger things to me, throwing away a 2-0 lead was ridiculous. But I think it's about clarity. And I think if we were 2-0 down and we made it to 2-2, I think we'd be having a very different conversation than if we threw away a 2-goal lead. So while we've seen this happen so many times with Arsenal, we wake up on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning and we go, at least we got a point. But it's how you get that point, and that's the problem. When you concede a 2-0 lead, then it leaves horrible taste in your mouth. If you fought back from 2-0 down, it's totally different. And for me, the minute I saw that Saliba wasn't on the sheet, I knew that I actually thought they could have beaten us. And I didn't. And knowing what Villa can do to us, I'm kind of look, at the end of the day, it's still only January, and I know it sounds like I'm kind of trying to pacify a situation, but we are 6 points behind Liverpool, and they have a game in hand. But the reality is, one of those games they've got to play us. Another game they've got to play City. Another game they've got to play Chelsea. You know, they're not going to have it easy. And I don't think Liverpool are going to hold on to this strength for the rest of the season. Statistically, we know that they do drop off. They don't have the stamina. And they've also got a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors with contracts that need tying up. And I think that, but when they start to unravel a little bit, which they will, we have to make sure that all these injuries we've got now have come back, or we've got a striker in this window, or something has turned around. Because all we have to do is keep our heads down. Because, look, being funny, I know it's only Ipswich, but City today, now they're what, fifth?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Right?
I
think they are.
Right.
I'll just check that for you.
They're either fourth or fifth. I know that. Can you really? I'm not going to say they're going to win the league, but can you write them off finishing second and us finishing third? Because I can't.
You can never write them off, can you?
No, and I'm not. I just think at the end of the day, we need to address our own problems before we start looking at anybody else. But I also think that there's a lot of throwing the blame around when the reality is we've got injuries. And if I was Arteta, I wouldn't be saying we've got injuries. I need to, obviously, I'm not saying he doesn't need to buy a new one, but I'm saying I wouldn't be saying we've got injuries, we need to plug these holes by buying new players. I'd be thinking we've got injuries. What the hell is going on with our medical team, between our medical team and our training ground? Because when the Lewin brothers were at Arsenal, this was never the case. And we often had the same starting 11 for every single game that we played. Wenger would not rotate hardly at all, especially the Invincible season. So what the hell has gone on in this amount of time where all of our players have got glass legs? That's something I want addressed.
Aisha, it always seems to happen on the training ground. And just to let you know, Man City are fourth.
It is fourth. I thought it was even fourth or fifth. I couldn't remember which one.
Goal difference, really. Goal difference, yeah.
Okay, lovely. What was the point? Was that the point you wanted to make as well as telling me what you... Okay, make your point and then I'll get back to the lads. Is that okay?
She was there too, by the way. She was, sorry, Aisha was at the game as well, by the way.
I know she was. I know.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Aisha, make your point and then I'll go back to the lads for a minute.
Yeah. My point is, I refuse to have a conversation about whether this goal was offside. And the reason I refuse to have this conversation, we all know about the inconsistency. We all know VAR is destroying this game. I don't know about anyone else, but when I watch Arsenal now, I don't celebrate a goal until I know they've declared it a goal, because I'm sick and tired of getting excited and then VAR comes and scuppers everything. And you know when you're in the Emirates, when they're going to do that, because that animation of goal goes on for a lot longer and you're going, oh no, what's going on here? I'm not having that conversation. I refuse, because I think if we hadn't have blown a 2-0 lead, no one would have given a shit, pardon my French, if that goal was allowed or not. It was the fact that we had to rely on that because we'd given away a 2-goal lead. No, and we wouldn't be having this conversation if we won 2-0. We'd be like, oh, it could have been 3 and they disallowed the goal, but fair play, whatever. At least we got 2 goals. Like, we wouldn't be having it, lads. You know that's true.
Well, thank you for making that point. It's a very, very good one, by the way. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Right, I'll come back. I will come back to you in a moment, right? Okay.
Yep.
Right, Bez, where were we? Oh yeah, Aisha didn't want to talk about it, so I'm moving over to Bez. What's your thoughts on the disallowed goal for handball?
Okay, I'll say this quote to begin with, and I just read it. Wenger once said, well, to clarify to those people who dismiss him, fans and non-fans, he said, I cannot classify the moments of happiness and of sadness, but every defeat is a scar in your heart that you never forget. In my eyes, yesterday, overall, and I get back to that, so-called goal thingy, I'll do my best to speak about it. It felt like a loss. For me, for that loss, because where I stand with someone's seat, as literally I just said, I celebrated the goal because it made me celebrate. I was like, you know what? It's a goal. But then the time just stop for 1 minute and they're checking it. I was like, well, I'm going to literally repeat what I just said. Literally felt like, oh, the more you replay, like you rewind the clock, it's like the more going to be not a goal, because they're trying to tell us, oh, we try to justify is actually not a goal. I'm thinking, well, why is it always us? I personally felt Havertz did his best to turn his back to the ball, and yet somehow, somewhere, someone thinks he's done on purpose, or blatantly on purpose, so we say, right? I'm not trying my best not to swear tonight because I'm not in the mood to swear because I want to, but I really don't want to. I'm sure Aisha knows me very well after meeting up yesterday. What I said off camera, a few things. But I'll say this: simply be, the officials do not like us. We hated them from the moment Arsenal Football Club got made to be Arsenal Football Club. Since ever Arsenal AFC existed, when it was Dow Square, then it's so many other names. But after we became Arsenal FC, George Graydon said it. They hate us. Wenger said it, and I'm sure there's many more. But I'll say this: somehow, Des, and I'll say this to you because you're hosting. I feel as a football fan of Arsenal Club, as a fanatic, as a supporter who tries his best to enjoy the football for what it is, not attacking each other or other fan bases too much at the moment. I feel like every time we do something, it's literally we're judged. Why are we so fragile? Why are we weak? We're not weak. We're still fighting on. I'm still wearing the badge of pride. I'll still support the team. Today the ladies won. I'm happy. But right now, the men's, as I said to you earlier, and I'll say this, barring the goal disallowed, then as they want to call disallowed, I felt we shot ourselves in the foot. You went to a war zone. You just decided you'd rather shoot the enemy. You shoot yourself in the foot to say, easy out. For me, it feels like a loss. It's not a point gained. It's like a loss.
Bez, that's very, very heartfelt, and I appreciate it. Thank you for going.
No,
I do appreciate it. Hello, Daniel. I will come to you in a minute. It's just that Richard's been waiting, mate. But thank you for joining us, mate. You're more than welcome. Richard, the Havertz goal, please, mate. Go on, give us your thoughts.
I agree with Aisha. It's the trouble is 2 defensive lapses cost us that game. Then we're relying on the referee and VAR to make a decision. For me, if you look at the flight of the ball after it hits Havertz, if it had just hit his hand, it would have gone looped up into the top corner. The fact is, it went at a different angle, then looped up. So that says it hit his body. But as I said, you cannot say that cost us the game. Those 2 defensive lapses. Now, we defended most of that game really well, and that's without Saliba. But 2 moments you switch off, it costs you a game. You can't do that. Now, whether I can't see how you can blame Arteta for 2 defensive lapses, because the rest of the game, defensively, we were pretty much perfect. That's down to the players not concentrating and not getting their positions and their jobs right in two sections of the game.
Right,
the only thing I would have done differently if I was Arteta is I would have made some substitutions to rotate it round when you saw the dynamics of the game that Aston Villa were playing. They were playing long balls. We were playing a tight game. Yeah. You should have moved Partey back into the middle and put Zinchenko on at the back, because where he lacks in pace, he's got grip. And the one thing I like about Zinchenko, he's not the best player in the world, but he loves that club. And if he's going to do all he can to keep that ball out the back of that net, he will bloody well do it. And that's the only thing that I thought Arteta was at fault yesterday. He can't be blamed for the injuries, and he can't be blamed for the team he's got to try and pick. But when you're rotating it wrong, Emery knew what he was doing 100%. You watch every player, the way they were marking our players in the box with the corners. You saw exactly, he knew what he was doing. And we all know when Chelsea was like dominating the Champions League and the Premier League, everyone used to take the mickey out of them for their long balls, but it worked, right? And that's exactly what Villa was doing yesterday. So why didn't we switch the game up? We were playing too tight. We were doing that classic Arsenal thing of trying to walk the ball in the back of the net. And I just felt yesterday like they were going for a sexy goal. We didn't need a sexy goal. We didn't need a love affair. We needed a goal that was like a one-night stand. Bosh it in and have it done and go, right? End of.
Right. So hold on. I was.
Wow.
I like that.
Aisha, you're my sister. For God's sake, I should be not hearing this from your mouth.
Oh, sorry.
Aisha, I was going to talk about the subs in a bit, but you preempted me. It's cool. We'll come back to that in a moment. Daniel, give us your thoughts on the game as quick as you possibly can, and the if you could do both at the same time, and the Merino Havertz goal disallowed, please, mate.
Yeah, good evening, guys, and good
Good
evening.
evening. Mate. Good evening.
It's been a while. I've been on the show with you, Aisha. I hope you're fine.
We're good. Tell us what you thought, mate. Go on.
Well, the game started in a way I never thought we were going to play. I thought we were going to be run over by Aston Villa because of the injuries to Saliba and the other key players, which are not really a present to the team. So, scoring 2 goals, I think we did our best to be 2 up, but 2 defensive lapses, according to what Aisha was saying. 2 defensive lapses from 2 players. I expected more from the likes of before the goal came in. Immediately we scored the second goal. I was asking for Jorginho to be bring on, because if Jorginho has come into that game, it would have killed the tempo of the game, because we scored 2 goals and it feels as if we had won having a goal there, and they were trying to still go for more goals. I think we should have brought Mikel Arteta should have brought in Jorginho. Right? The last time I was asked on the show, on the space, who I would like to see as a midfield combination, I was saying I would prefer Mikel Merino and either Thomas Partey or Declan Rice. But yesterday, after watching the performance of Mikel Merino yesterday, I really don't think is up to the standard of playing for Arsenal Football Club at the moment. Unless something changed. If something changed, that's fine. But so back to the game, I felt it was at fault for both goals, because he didn't head the ball far enough to clear the ball when the ball was crossing to the 18. I'm talking about the second goal, not the first goal, because the first goal was all his fault.
That was Havertz. It was Havertz' head.
No. I mean, the ball came into the penalty area, and Mikel Merino headed the ball out to what's his name, the Aston Villa player, who now picked the ball and crossed it back into the penalty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure if that was Merino, but it could have been. Yeah.
Merino, because I was screaming in front of my TV and shouted like, "Why didn't you hit that ball very well?" Like, because he had all the opposite way. But I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was having a chicken neck. So I was gutted for not taking out 3 points, even though I feel we can win the league this season, but I was still gutted not to win a game, because seeing us now win games, making the fact that I think we are not season, but I want us to win as much game as possible, and leading to new at the Emirates should be a standard 3 point for Arsenal. It should be a standard 3 point for any serious club going for a tie. As an institution, should really be doing well when they are 2 goals up. And I remember the last time Arsenal saying it, the last time we had 2 goals up and it was against Crystal Palace. That was in 2014. I guess that was what the commentator was saying. So we threw away, feel like a hope for us to back into the title race, and the 2 points which we gained on the midweek, we threw it away. And to the Kai Havertz goal, I do not see a clear I do not see a clear and old evidence to point that ball actually struck a Havertz on the hand. Even the screenshot,
said the same.
The videos I've been watching since last night, I have not seen a clear evidence actually hit Kai Havertz on the hand.
Okay.
And the replay that was shown on the TV doesn't prove anything that the ball actually struck him. And what does the VAR say when there's no clear and obvious evidence? They stick to the on-field decision. Is that magnitude of decision check within a space of 30 seconds? I do not understand. Forensic check. There was no forensic audit on that ball, unless they are trying to tell us that there's a mic on the ball that actually show that the ball hit Kai Havertz in 2 different places, which is stomach and the sand. Because from the video evidence, I cannot see it. And this brings me back to what I've keep saying: the PGM or the referees in England are shit. Corrupt towards Arsenal. Yeah, Mark will want to say I'm going at the referee again. Yes, I'll keep going at the referee, because like you likely go on to the owners of the club, which they are running the club, in my opinion. Same way the PGMO here are running Arsenal, than trying as if trust me, if that was an Aston Villa player who had that ball in the back of the to equal or to equalize that game, or a 3-2 win for Aston Villa, they are not going to overturn that goal.
Thank you, Daniel.
I can bet you they tell you that there was no clear and obvious evidence to tell you that the ball actually struck Havertz in the hand, which we all seen. I think 6 of us here in this, but not just us. Even what's his name? Kids was saying it after the game that if that was him, it would be good, because it actually went for them. Because there's no clear and obvious evidence to show that the ball actually struck Kai Havertz in the hand. So why does the on-field decision not stand? Because the referee and the linesman in the game actually awarded the goal. So if there's no clear and obvious evidence to print that the ball actually struck, stand.
Okay, Daniel.
But it's Arsenal. So
the only thing that annoys me about that whole situation is that if you watch any other time when there's been something like that has happened, all the Arsenal players have their hands very obviously behind their backs, so that this is not a thing that they get pulled up on. So it feels like one or two things. One, they used that against Havertz because his arms were flaying all over the place because they didn't want to award it, or Arsenal know that they are likely to not award it when they do that. That's why they put their arms behind their back. So either way that you look at it, it's not clear and obvious. So it goes completely against their own rules. That if you had been in the stadium yesterday, and Bez will tell you, there was a gasp. I haven't heard a gasp like that when they showed the image on the screen. The last time I heard a gasp like that at the Emirates, at a game, was when Eduardo got injured. That was the last time I heard a gasp that loud at a game. Tell me what you think of that one. Honest to God, tell me what you think of that one. Bez will tell you the whole stadium on the Arsenal end gasped when they saw the footage.
Aisha, I didn't think you wanted to talk about it.
I didn't. That's my only point I'm putting in.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Okay, guys, just to let you know, right, I'm trying to keep this show to an hour. So, just keep putting in your stuff, but I'm trying to keep it to an hour, just so you know, yeah? Just before we go on, please give us a like, a share, and listen to this motley crew, because they know what they're talking about. They love the game. They love the team. But, right, I'm going to move on now, because we've covered that quite intensively. Miles Lewis Skelly, my man of the match, because he had Rodgers in his pocket. He was as strong as anything. So, guys, starting with Mark, can you tell me your man of the match and why, please?
I would give it to Miles as well. I thought Miles was brilliant, and I've got stocks in this guy. I've been praising and singing his name since going back to, I think I went to the Bolton game, and he was the player that I want to see. I watched him in the academy. Play a game, and I have never seen this. This kid is unbelievable. He is going to go into that left eight and into that midfield. He right now is just Arteta is just developing him on the left back, and he is going to come in. He is not going to be a permanent left back in my eyes. This kid has got this. He's so humble. He has got everything at his feet. So, yeah, it is. Do you know, Bez? Even mentioning his name brings an absolute smile and joy to me. It does. This guy is like, I don't want to put pressure on him, and everyone gives Ethan the flowers, and quite rightly so. Ethan's a great player, but Miles Lewis Skelly for me is just going under the radar, just gently, and I think he's phenomenal, bro. I really, really do.
Okay, then, Richard, it's your turn. Man of the match and why, please?
Miles Lewis Skelly, there was a few that stood out, but he stood out amongst those even. And he's been consistently probably our best performer over the last 5 or 6 games. Now, going with what Aisha said earlier, I probably wouldn't have bought Sinchenko on, but I'd have brought Tierney on into left back. I'd have moved Skelly over to right back, taken Marino off, and moved Partey back into midfield with Rice further up, and done that, because I think Skelly can play anywhere, pretty much anywhere on the field. He is technically sound. He is strong on the ball. He's clever. If he puts his body in between the player coming for the ball, and he gets that foul. For such a young man, he's grabbed his chance and said to Arteta, drop me. I dare you to drop me.
Yeah. Daniel, your man of the match and why, please, mate?
My man of the match was actually Leandro Trossard.
Okay.
If I'm not going to pick Leandro Trossard, I would have picked Declan Rice. And Mike Lewis Kelly, for me, is up there as one of the players of the man of the match. And back to what you were saying, I think I would have brought in this young boy Madini. Madini should have come in for Mikel Marino. I think Timber back to right back, Pep Madini and the young and Gabriel together. I don't think that goal will stand. That goal will come because Mikel Arteta needs to trust these young guys. Yeah, because if you're putting them on the bench, means they have the capacity or they have the caliber to play in that position. So for me, my man of the match is Leandro Trossard. If I'm not going for Trossard, then I'm going for Rice.
Fair enough. Aisha, it's your time to shine again. Who is your man of the match and why, please?
I'm kind of siding with Daniel because I think it would be very obvious to say Lewis Skelly because of the way he has been playing lately. But I always like to look at the silent players, the players who you don't think they're doing much until they're not there. And I think that lately, and he really shone at the Spurs game as well. Declan Rice is coming back to that form that we bought him for, and I felt that yesterday. He really, really did. He was the only one that was intercepting the long balls that Villa were playing. So I kind of felt like him, and I've always liked Trossard as well anyway. But I did think that if I had to pick between the two, it would be Declan Rice for me.
Okay, cool. Bez, your time to shine. Man of the match and why, please?
I'm wearing the shirt, so it brings me a bit of happiness. That's why I changed the shirt, just for the happiness reasons only, I was 3 months old. Not the Emirates spotlight, but 3 months old when won the title back in this kit.
Okay, so who was your man of the match and why?
I'll be honest with you. I'm fighting between Trossard and another one. Can't think right now, but it has to be MLS. Mount Lewis Kelly, because I personally think the way we could have lost the game, the way he saw danger, he literally made it happen. He made it happen against Tottenham, and he said to his Spurs fans, and I'll say this out loud, fucking pussies, because they're trying to get away this, Hale and Star. Simply we have now players who are coming from the academy who clearly love playing for the badge. You can see what it means to them. They know what it takes, that, emotion side of it. I personally think he showed how he's really maturing as a young lad. He's really young, as Mark said. We don't want to pressurize him as fans, but Lewis, just do your thing. Sorry, Miles, I call him Lewis, but Miles, just do your thing, mate. Just keep your head up and just keep striving for greatness, and just the fortune will come his way. Hopefully now he starts, getting like more crosses in the box, like a bit more dangerous attack. Maybe nick a goal to learn a few, the lessons from Fury, and who knows? I just hope he has a wonderful future ahead, because right now he's just, for me, he's making me smile. That's the only guy right now, barring the experienced players, a young fella, besides also one year is injured, as we know, he's brought me a smile on my face, this young lad. He literally carrying my hopes up a bit more, rather than he was a bit down.
The thing I like about him is that he doesn't care if he's playing Man City or Macclesfield. He would literally put on the same FU attitude. I'm in this shirt and this is my shirt. And too many times we've seen Arsenal first 10 minutes of a game when it's a big fixture. Calm down, lads. Control the ball. Keep it together. It could be the first minute or the 91st minute. That boy will still play the same football.
Aisha, he's not scared of anybody, is he?
No, not at all.
Right, so we've got two more topics tonight, guys, before we end the show, I'm going to start with this one, and this last one's a big one. But we've got to talk about the substitutions of last night, okay? So this time, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Ladies first. Go on, Aisha. Tell us what you thought about the substitutions and how they made you feel.
I felt like Arteta was like a rabbit in a headlights. I felt like he didn't want to make anything. I felt like he was too scared to make something because he actually thought we could hang on. And I thought it was totally the wrong attitude. We should have been subbing way before we did, and we should have been making much more clever substitutions. He knows we've got a hole at the back, so why isn't he trying to push the hole at the back? We've actually got people that could have put that ball in the back of the net with no problem. The problem we had was we gave away a 2-0 lead. To me, if I was a manager, I'd be going, all right, we've got a 2-0 lead. Now we need to shut up shop. But he didn't. He left the back wide. We had no Saliba. It was a nightmare. You were scared every time they got the ball because they just punted it down the end, waiting for someone to pick it up.
And Ollie Watkins, I mean, he scores all the time at the Emirates, doesn't he? All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, who are we going to go with next? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, I'm only joking. Daniel, give us your thoughts on the substitutions, please, mate.
I found myself agreeing with Aisha because 2-0 up, I would have brought in Jorginho. Why not just pack the bus? Who cares? 60 minutes into the game, 2-0, pack the bus. I don't give a F whatever the people want to say. We set piece FC, corner FC. I thought he left it too late, and but if you have to think again, there's really nobody to bring on. Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody to bring on. So I'm not gonna flog the manager on that too much. That's it.
I apologise, Daniel. I thought you finished there. I apologise, mate. Let's see. Who do we pick next? Who's the best looking out of you three? Scottish Brazilian, off you go.
I know you're squandering me there. Richard, you're obviously the nicest looking one. Do you know what? I don't want to get into it until the final topic, but me personally, I look at the bench at the moment and I don't see. Yeah, J20 could have came on and we could have shot. We could have brought Gabriel on, but we know that Arteta doesn't trust him. I just don't see where the depth in the squad is. So I'm not going to give Arteta a hard time over these substitutions. I just wish he didn't set up the Thomas Partey. I want Thomas Partey, and we're playing games every 3 days at the moment.
Yeah.
So I can't. I'm not going to come on a podcast and slate the manager over substitutions. It's just, yeah. We'll get to the final point, and I'll get my therapy on that. But
okay, mate. Yeah, because I'll tell you on the final subject, I'm just going to light the fuse and let you lot go. All right.
I'm going to go, bro.
I know you are. Okay, then, Bez. The substitutions. Your thoughts, please.
I'll be the spark and fuse then. I'll say this. That was utter shite by Arteta. How about that? Because you make only one sub, take a risk, son. Take a bloody risk, That's what I'll say. It was utter shite being in a football stadium with no plan B. I'm sorry. Yes, youngsters. They have to play at some point, right? The way you utilize Kelly, as Mark said earlier in the season, he didn't utilize any youngsters. He let them rot on the bench. For me, I love Raya. I want Raya to be dropped because Raya gets carried away now. Raya loses his marbles. That's what I'll say, because he needs to make Neto play a bit now. I'm sorry, but I'll say it at the end as well. Play Neto, drop Raya. That's my feedback to it.
Okay, I will say just before I go to Richard, sorry, Richard, I just want to make this point because we actually spoke about it in the match last night. For the second goal, right, Raya should have saved that because I'm an ex-goalkeeper. He could have easily have moved his arm 8 inches and that would have hit that. The ball would have hit his hand. So they wouldn't have scored. But anyway, I digress. Richard, give us your thoughts on the substitutes, please.
Well, in the watch along, I said, why is he not making any substitutions?
Yeah.
I don't think he was scared. I think he looked at his options. You needed to do something with that midfield. Bringing Jorginho on wasn't the option. So then what do? You have to move Partey up. But what do you do with your defence then? And as I said, his options there were either putting Gabriel, who he obviously has lost trust in. You put Tierney at left back, move Miles Lewis Skelly over to right back, and a Partey move back in and a party Rice, but I don't think he ever was going to use the kids on the bench, because I think they were just bench fillers to
Rich,
meet
they were
the
there for show,
requirements
mate.
of having that number of players on the match.
Richard,
play the match.
Richard, they were there for show, mate. To be honest with
Yeah,
you.
that's what I meant. That's what I said. They're bench fillers just so that you can play the game. You have to have a certain amount of players in the squad to play the game, otherwise you can't play the game. So, and that's what I think. He was sort of, well, who do I turn to? Who on the bench in my senior players? I've got no forwards I can turn to, so it'd be a defensive sit, and then I'm inviting pressure onto myself.
Exactly. Right, guys. So this is the final topic of the evening, okay? And I tell you now, we have to talk about this. I'm going to give you all a fair go, yeah? And before I start, though, Mark, I love you dearly, but breathe, right? Breathe, yeah? So we need to talk about, and I want, this is like a double-edged sword. We need to talk about the owners and us not buying anybody and leaving ourselves in the situation we're in. I'm going to let Mark go first for context, all right? So Scottish Brazilian, take it away, fella.
Right, thanks, bro. First of all, I've been too harsh on Mikel Arteta during the last few months. I've been very, very harsh on Mikel Arteta, Super Mika, my manager, my fucking manager. He's coming out in press conferences where players are dropping like flies, and our owners have done absolutely fuck all. Nothing. Zero. He had nothing to take off that bench yesterday. Absolutely fuck all. And I'll point out these owners to you. And this is my therapy session, and I'm trying to breathe. Thomas Partey signing. What did Arsenal need to do? Go up to La Liga, not even Atletico, the fucking league, and drop £40 million down. And we get Thomas Partey. When did we do it? The 1st of January? Did we fuck? We waited to the 31st of fucking January.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
31st of January for a fucking release clause.
Mm-hmm.
The idiots of this football club. We're on the fucking brink. My manager is on the fucking brink. City's falling off a cliff. And where the fuck are we? Where are we? Where is the reinforcements? You gave me Raheem Sterling. You gave me Raheem fucking Sterling. We paid. We brought in over 100 fucking million and we spent 150 net. 150 net. I am fucking sick of this football club, honestly. I'm deflated. This fan base is deflated. There's a tweet that's went viral of an Arsenal fan slapping a chair yesterday. He was me in that stadium. He was you. He was everybody. As long as you get top 4 clunkies, that's all you fucking want. That's all you fucking want. Well, it's not fucking good enough. Nowhere near fucking good enough. And you could go and sign a manager, 2 strikers, a winger on the 31st of January. Do you know what? It's too fucking late.
Agreed.
Too fucking late. Sorry, that's my rant over, and I'll hopefully breathe again.
I'll say my bit at the end. So go for it, Bez. Let's hear what you got to say, mate.
Well, I have enough to say, because if I feel like this guy right now, and actually knows what I'm talking about, well, if you're a Star Wars fan, you know what I'm talking about. That's me right now. Double-bladed lightsaber and Darth Maul would, because simply I'm going to agree with Mark. Not good enough. I've been on the optimistic side of things. Right now, I still believe, but right now feels like we're on the edge of not really greatness. We're on the edge of falling off a cliff as well. If this is the way he's going, I'm sorry. He knows what's wrong, Des. He knows what's wrong out there. I'm sorry, but he knows what's wrong. You telling me right now, yesterday you couldn't have thrown like a couple of players around, shift players around? Like one, no, I'm not having to go Partey because I love Partey, but when he made the mistake to literally give the throw in to Watkins, I think it was, he literally let Watkins go right in. I think he knows that Watkins is an Arsenal fan. Surely, yes, he will score, but that's a silly boy mistake. Then you see that Partey doesn't look off it. Nothing against Partey. Replace him. Put someone else there who's got a bit more speed. a bit more pace. For me, Partey is a midfielder, not a defender.
Yeah.
You know, I think for once as well, he needs to start shifting players around as well, just to rotate. If not rotation, then sooner or later will come for Arteta's head, and he has to, technically Arteta franchise sooner or later will be shut down, and we have to start again if this is the case moving forward. No, it's disgusting. I'm literally lost for words for how a simple man. I'm a football fan. You know it's not working. Fix it. Like the dynamo. The dynamo needs a bit more rolling or something. The car engine needs some more oil. For me, Arteta needs some more omega-3. For me, that's what he needs.
But then,
I'm sorry.
Bez, saying on what you're, can I just ask a question so you can carry on?
Please do. Yes, please do.
Saying that, right? The owners are to blame here because they're not supplying the money. I think if you gave some money to Arteta, he would go out and buy players. So everybody, I don't mean you when I say this, okay? But everybody's saying Arteta. No, Cronkies. And I've still got more to say in a minute. But do you get where I'm coming from, mate? End of the day, there's a cog missing in the machine where, but then Arteta has to go, well, sorry, guys, I can't buy players because I'm not being given any money. Did you have any more to say, Bez? Sorry, did you have any more to say?
Just a few more things, yeah, forgive me. But basically, there's a film based on Alan Turing, which is I don't know, it's based against the Germans, right?
Yeah, the Enigma game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. Right now, for me, okay, it's not just Arteta. It is the owners as well. Of course it is. But somehow, somewhere, if something's not really right, have a meeting, internal meeting, see what's wrong. Surely there must be a meeting or a PowerPoint presentation somewhere that says, we're lacking a striker and a creative, well, not midfielder, but we're lacking something in defense. So technically up front, we're a bit more, empty, that empty tank. At the back, maybe we need some, modification. Even if it's on loan, option to buy, fair enough. But simply I said even last year how we bought Raya. We saw that, Ramsey looked a bit off color. We bought the player on loan, worked out well, great. But right now we need to have a little talking more between the board and the manager. Let's see what's wrong. I see it, you see it, Aisha does, Daniel does, everyone else does, the whole list. Everyone sees it, we're on the same page, for God's sake. But as fans, and I'll say this, since I went to the game, after the game, everyone just felt deflated. Like literally, you made all this a jacuzzi bath, shall we say. Someone decided, you know what, I'm just gonna stab it, deflate it, and everyone is just pissed off. Like the pool party is gone. And I feel like right now, that's me right now. And I've decided, you know what, I'm gonna stop supporting the men's for a little bit, as in to say, stop altogether, just detox. So I've got other things to worry about at the minute. Because simply, I am very, really pissed off to the maximum end.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't want to say because I don't think anyone's time, but it's frustrating being a football fan right now.
No, I get it, and this is your turn. That's what I'm trying to do tonight with you guys is let you have your say, let off a bit of steam. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with
steam. There's no steam. There's more than steam on this loud. There's a lot of
steam.
I
know, but I'm just using that as an example, mate. End of the day, this is your chance to say how you feel. All right, let's put that. Yeah, and I hope you've had the chance. I hope you feel like you've had the chance to do that.
Well, thank you for giving the opportunity. You've done more than enough I could ask for, and everyone else involved as well. Thank you so much for having me venturing out, for letting me give it out.
Well, that's cool, but I'm letting everybody do it because it's fair. It's the only way I can be fair. Daniel, go ahead, son.
Okay. First of all, before I go on, I actually had a notepad written down on this particular topic we're saying, on what I wanted to say. But before I go on, I just wanted to say there's something in my mind and think if there's any Arsenal fans out there with what is going on in our club, should you want Mikel Arteta to be sacked or want Martin Odegaard to be taken off from the captaincy because of what is going on right now? I think such Arsenal fans is an idiot, and such Arsenal fans deserve to be laughed at, and such Arsenal fans deserve the pain he's going through, because you can't see what's going on in our club right now, seeing how the owners of this club are running this club down, and in your head, in your mind, you think Mikel Arteta is the problem or the reason why we are where we are, not winning the league title. I think such Arsenal fans need to get their heads checked. Because you can't tell me the Cronkies do not know we need an attacking signing. Even before the injury to Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus, we actually were clamoring for attacking signings because there was nothing in our bench. There's nothing in that team apart from Bukayo Saka, corner kick, and let's pray to God. So I don't understand why, when it comes to Arsenal trying to sign players, it takes so fucking long. Firstly, you hear that Arsenal are interested in the player is a target. Arsenal are liking the player. They're sending the scouts to go and watch the player. All these things within a month, 2 months, Arsenal are planning to put in a bid, or Arsenal have put in a bid. The bid have been rejected. Now Arsenal are thinking of going back. When it comes to other clubs like Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, even Tottenham, when they like a player, they go for the player, put in a bid, sign the player, and the player start playing for them. But when it comes to Arsenal, we take more than 3 months to target a player. So I keep asking the question, so what's the work of the sporting director, the work of those in charge of signing players, that you haven't done your scouting, you haven't done your planning or your work to know if this player is going to play for Arsenal or how much this player is going to cost? So why waiting? Today is 19th already, yet we still do not have any player through the door. So I do not understand what's going on. But it leads me to understand that it's not actually the manager's fault, because if you track back to the time of Arsene Wenger, it's same thing. And you ask the question, who has been here since the time of Arsene Wenger, the time of Unai Emery, and the time of Mikel Arteta? Is the Cronkies. In other words, the Cronkies had a problem, because you can't tell me Mikel Arteta, who played under Arsene Wenger, saw this thing so clear in the time of Aston Villa, how it was all out of the club. I was insulted by our fans and lost his job, and Mikel Arteta would still want to do the same thing his boss did. No, the problem is the Cronkies. And I find it so annoying that our fans are not really putting the pressure and putting the blame where it should be. The blame should be on the owners of the club.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, totally.
The owners of the club, they are not putting their money where the mouth is, because their mouth right now is in LA Rams, Denver Nuggets, not at Arsenal. So I find it so annoying that our fans, the ones who have bigger platform, the ones who have smaller platform, we just want to follow trend because one idiot come online and say Mikel Arteta should be sacked. Yes, everybody want to go through that trend and say Mikel Arteta should be sacked. Mikel Arteta is in. Take a look. How many Arsenal fans want Postecoglou to be sacked? I can bet you no one. How many Arsenal fans? How many Manchester United fans? How many Arsenal fans wanted Ten Hag to be sacked? None. Why? Because they know it's shit. And being a manager of a club like that, and you are shit in that club, definitely that club is not going to progress. Ask yourself, how many fans of other clubs want Mikel Arteta to be sacked? All of them. Why? Because they know the manager is fucking good. And if that manager is backed by the owners of the club, this club is going to go back to the standard of winning trophies and becoming a great club. So when you follow the bandwagon of other fans clamoring for Mikel Arteta to be sacked, and you as an Arsenal fan seeing the problem of the club, that the problem of the club is the owners who own the club and not putting their money where the mouth is, and you want to follow trend because you want to follow Elon Musk and TikTok, whatever revenue. I find it so disgraceful, and I find it so insulting, and it's really annoying for me as an Arsenal fan. See Arsenal fans clamoring for Mikel Arteta to be sacked when they know that the problem of this club is the owners of the club for not signing players, for not putting their money where their mouth is. That should be the case. They are the cankerworm of this club.
I agree, Daniel. I totally agree, and I know Mark agrees as well.
Love you, Daniel. Love you, Daniel.
Yeah, you couldn't have put it any more better, mate, to be honest with you. Okay, then, Judy, it's your turn. Off you go.
Well, I mean, we know Arteta's wanted Williams for in the summer. He's wanted him since December, and I understand that the wages and the thing would put us in FFP. My issue with the Cronkies is you've had this many years at the club, why isn't our academy up to like Cities and Chelsea's, where they sell academy players to put onto the books to be able to avoid these the Champions League, FFP? Why aren't our commercial deals up there like Man United's and Cities, and why is that side of the business so poorly run? Why haven't you got somebody in there who is the best of the best at that, so that we can go out in a January and plot what the manager wants on the player without worrying about financial issues?
Is that all you want to say, Richard Church?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Aisha, let it rip. Take the chip.
I think you've got to break it down into two things here. And I'm going to be, the first thing I'm going to say is going to be ever so slightly controversial. But when I started to see, after everything that Wenger did for us, Arsenal fans calling for Wenger out, even when we were playing football that wasn't great, but I knew behind closed doors, and I wasn't on the inside, that he had his hands tied behind his back because of what the owners were doing to the club. But he was too much of a gentleman to actually say anything. And I was seeing people sat near me with arsene out pieces of paper they were showing. I made a vow to myself then, and this is one of the reasons why it took me so long to get into these communities. Unless I'm related to you or we're friends, I don't like Arsenal fans, right? Because they are a moany bunch of supporters. They've had it so good for so long that the minute things started to go wrong, they were quick to throw their rattle out of their pram, blame the manager, want the manager out, and want the whole club overhauled. When it wasn't the manager, it was quite clearly what the board wasn't letting him do. And we are seeing that now with the Cronkies. We are seeing it now with what's going on with Arteta. And by the way, I don't feel like that about the Arsenal communities now, because I wouldn't be on these shows if I felt that way. But I was bitter for a very long time because I was so angry that people couldn't see what was right in front of their faces. Now, there's been a dynamic shift here, which no one's really spoken about, and that is Stan Kroenke was using us as a feeder club for his American clubs. I know Daniel mentioned this. And that was, I think, his real reason for buying us in the first place, because it was a way of siphoning out funds. But since Josh Kroenke has had a bit more say, he was the one that was like having much more conversation with Arteta. He was the one that was, when we started to look like we were going somewhere about this time last year, maybe a bit longer, Josh Kroenke was a lot more involved. Josh Kroenke seems to have taken a step back again. And I feel like Stan Kroenke's the one pulling all the strings, which is why we're having all these problems with who we can and can't buy. Because I'm sure I read somewhere that one of the biggest orchestrators of being involved with some of the big signings we made this time about 18 months ago was Josh Kroenke. And I'm getting the feeling that it's all gone back to us being a feeder club for the American clubs again. And also, don't forget, they own Walmart, and Walmart is struggling. Their sales are down, Asda's sales are down, right? So we can all see where this is going. It annoys me because if you actually remember when we moved into the Emirates, Arsene Wenger came up with a thing. I don't know if any of you guys remember this. I remember this, where he froze season tickets for 5 years as a way to compensate the supporters for what was going on, right? And that was him pushing the button on that, and him pushing because he had the fans behind us. And that's why I get very annoyed when Arsenal fans become very short-sighted at the way that this club has been run, exactly like what Daniel is saying. The issue is, for me, is that we are turning into a business. And I know football is a business, but yesterday it was up there for about 2 minutes, and then Arsenal's admin must have removed it. I don't know if you pay attention to the club shop and online on the online shop, but they are bringing out new merch near enough every week, right? More than I've seen them bringing out stuff in a long, long time. They brought this Year of the Snake stuff out that's now the big thing. That's like a jacket. Yeah.
Sorry, I saw it.
On one of the comments on one of the shirts, which by the way has now been removed, somebody had put, "Stop trying to sell us this shit to make money and just win some trophies."
Good way of putting it.
Because people are fed up of us. Look, we're in a credit crisis, credit crunch, a cost of living crisis, and we still go and we still support this club wherever we can, even if we live, do you know what I mean? Even if we live as far away as Mark does, he still puts his pennies into the club. Daniel, I'm sure, puts his pennies into the club. It's not only about you going, it's about how you support your club by buying a shirt, by, getting any sort of financial revenue that you're putting into that club. You expect to see something back. And I'm just feeling lately like all I am to them is a wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me feeling that for my club. That's feeling it for the people that are running it. So I think that it's important to make a distinction between Arteta, the Cronkies, and I kind of feel like Edu was he was just as bad as them as a way, because some of the deals that he made. I mean, we're now lacking up front. There's talk about Reece Nelson coming back off loan.
No, thank you.
Right? But I know that's what I read today. And also there's conversations about the fact that, we shouldn't have sold Emil Smith Rowe. No shit, Sherlock. We know that. We didn't want it to happen when it happened. Well, if Raya has an injury, we've got a player, a goalkeeper that was cup tied, and a 16-year-old. And this is a club that you want to win the league. I mean, it boggles my mind, to be honest with you. And I just really feel like you're not going to get them out anytime soon, because they're too financially wrangled in that club. The roots are too deep. But something needs to happen where, they are stopped and made to take note and go, we will not be your bank to fund your clubs and your American businesses.
Thank you for that, Aisha. Felt it right here. Appreciate it. Right, guys, we're getting past the hour now. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to have your say. I'm going to have the last word on this, and then I'm going to close this one down if that's okay. But I want to say a few things. I agree 100% with everything that everybody said, right? Because you know why? You're talking from the heart. And when you talk from the heart, you tell the truth. There's no way getting around that, right? But I want to throw my 2 pence worth in. Stan Kroenke married into money. His wife is the money. She's the owner of Walmart or Asda. I don't know if she still is, or Asda and all this.
No, they sold Asda to 2 Indian brothers. I think they're Indian anyway.
But she's still the money, mate. He
Yeah.
gets pocket money. That's what he gets, right? And that's the truth, right? What I don't like is this. They're the problem, but they're able to shift the blame to the fan base. They treat this fan base like we're a load of sheep. This season, I went and bought the Monsters Inc. Football jersey, the one that looks like Sully, right?
Yeah.
100 quid.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I spent that 100 quid because I like the top, and I know Mark likes his tops. Bez, you all like your tops. I'm not, I'm not just segregating here, right? I spent 100 quid on the Monsters Inc. football top because I liked it, right? When I spent that 100 quid, I didn't think, oh, that's going to the Cronkies. I thought that's going to my team. Yeah. And you're right, Aisha. The way they're bringing out this merchandise, we're like sheep. You got people queuing up outside the shop. Bah, bah, let me in. I need to buy it. Yeah. We are so entrenched in, I want the latest kit. I mean, I've got a mate who's got 3 kids, and they get every kit every season. So how much is he spending? And we're getting nothing to show for the money we're spending. That's my thing, right? And you know what? There's a portion of this fan base, right, that I said it in the watch along yesterday, and I'll stick by my word. So you're getting the continuity here, right? Arteta out because we've drawn a game. Arteta out, right? Go and get Arteta out. Who are you going to get in? I used Dyche yesterday. No disrespect to Dyche. I'm just using him as an example. Do you want to see Arsenal playing Dyche ball?
No.
No, you don't. Yeah? This lad needs... That's what I'm saying. There's a major cog missing between manager and owners, right? And fact. The last time the owners really spent money the LA Rams won the Super Bowl. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but is to the Cronkies, is Arsenal Football Club a tax dodge? Because that's how it feels. That's how it feels. Arsenal Football Club is a tax dodge. Yeah, and just to say that they've got a stake in something in the UK, it's a bloody tax dodge, right? So, my final point: we need players. Yeah, me and Mark have spoken about this loads, guys. Me and Richard have spoken about this because obviously he's my co-host on the watch-alongs, and if ever you guys come on the watch-alongs, we will have interesting conversations. But I tell you now, and I'm going to swear, what's the fucking point of a release clause if you're not going to activate it? Go out there and buy. I've said it all the time. I must be sounding like a broken record. Go out there and get Gyökeres for 80 million. Go out there and get Osimhen for, I don't care if it's 200 million.
65 million euros.
Do you know how much Arsenal make a game? Do you know how much? Do you know how much Arsenal make? If you're a season ticket holder, right? You have access to the information for the AGM. Now I read it every now and then when it comes through, but I made a point of reading some of it this time when they send it through to you. You can have a look at it. Do you know that Arsenal's turnover revenue at every home game is £4 million?
It doesn't.
£4 million. So you're telling me in a season you can't put that towards something for your fans to be able to have something to be proud of. They're so short-sighted. You start winning trophies, they'll sell more bloody shirts, they'll sell more merch. It's ridiculous. It's this short-sighted.
Aisha, there's going to be a podcast coming out on this, right? And I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. Arsenal, at this moment in time, when we moved into the Emirates Stadium, it cost £380 million. Over double. The best manager in my club's fucking history suffered on the hands of the Cronkies, where he was winched out of our football club, Aisha. He was winched out of there. They're away now, to get to your point, they're away now, because Tottenham are pulling in 5.18 million per game. They're now away to spend another 380 fucking million just to get us up to Tottenham standards of bringing it in. So that's the infrastructure around Arsenal Football Club, and it's also to bring up the capacity. We were told when we moved into the Emirates Stadium, bro, that we could go and sign a David Beckham back in the day. We could go and challenge with the Real Madrid. I don't want that right now. I want fucking trophies. Yeah. Back my manager. Back my fucking manager now. They're not doing it, and they're too late.
What makes me mad? I mean, when I hear people say Arteta outright, I think people forget Arteta's age. I'm 42. Arteta is a year older than me, and I think to myself, I couldn't do what he's doing. All right, we come from different backgrounds. I haven't grown up with a footballing like he has played, and he's had the exposure and stuff. But I do think to myself, people are putting a lot of pressure on this man's shoulders, when actually a reality of it is, whatever you do to turn round the back room, you will eventually turn around the pitch, but only if you've got the collateral and the financial backing to be able to do this. And the problem with the mentality there at the moment, the Cronkies they think to themselves, well, Wenger could buy Thierry Henry for 500,000, and then that's what he turned into.
It was a different time, though, Aisha.
It's a different time, exactly. Yeah. So they're thinking that it's still the mentality of, I don't make, I don't buy superstars, I make them. But we're not in that time anymore. Chelsea changed that game when when Abramovich came in. They set the bar, and we haven't been able. Yeah, if you want anyone to limbo under the fucking bar, we'll do that quite nicely, but we can't jump it. And that really annoys me. And I'm getting to the point now where I do go there as much as I go, and I do think to myself, it's not about the winning, it's about the show. If we had a full squad and we had all these players, pardon the pun, all guns blazing, and it just didn't go your way, you'd be like, something didn't work that day. But when you're getting to the point where we have no one on the bench because we've not only not bought anyone, but we've got so many injuries, what the hell is going on with our medical team? Is it, again, throw it out there, is it that the Cronkies don't want to spend on good medical staff?
Possibly.
I mean, It's not only on the pitch, is it? It's at the back of the pitch as well.
Just had a message from, a comment from G Certified. Mark, you are not winning the league, my mate. Possibly not, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, I've got to end this one, guys. I'm really sorry. And all I can say is thank you very much for being on tonight because it's been absolutely brilliant. Just to let you know, Aisha, that £4 million buys you a seat. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately, there is no contract between you and the owners or the club. All it is to get you into the stadium and watch a football match. And it
no, when I mean that 4 million, I don't mean what I mean is that 4 million they make every game.
Yeah,
you could. That's money going in the bank that could be put to something that could help.
76 million a season.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So you're talking about the players you could buy for 80 million. You could be siphoning that off to put towards that. That's my only point.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, we agree with you.
We totally agree with you, sweetheart. It's not you're not saying nothing wrong. Yeah, but I've got to end this one, guys, and I'm really sorry. And all I can say is thank you for your passion. Thank you for what you've said tonight. It means a lot, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. You've absolutely been brilliant. I would like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart because obviously this is my first time hosting this show. So, and it's meant a lot to me because you've all contributed really, really well. So I just want to thank everybody. So, Mark, thank you very much for being on, mate. Thank you for being passionate.
No, thank you for hosting, bro. You've been brilliant. You've been brilliant.
Is there anything you want to say before you go regarding people getting in touch with you on X or
No. Do you know what? I don't bother about that. I'm just a passionate Arsenal fan now. What's my football club?
That's absolutely cool.
And we're all the same guys. We all want the same thing.
I just wanted to. That was all.
Yeah, we don't always agree on things, but we all want the same thing. No. And it's time to deliver. KSE, get the fuck out of my football club.
You couldn't have said it any better. Richard, Judy, my co-host on the watch along. Thanks a lot for being on. Daniel, always a pleasure, mate. You always talk sense, even though you are the ref's best friend. It's okay. It's all right. We can live with that. Bez, as always, thank you, mate. Your different kind of look at football is refreshing. And of course, the first lady of tonight's show, Aisha, thank you very much. But next time, put your camera on, all right?
Next time I will make sure I'm more ready for it than I didn't think I was going to be home in time. So I've been at my parents all weekend. And then when I got in, I was like, do you know what? I will jump on, but I am in my pajamas.
Can I just say that meeting Aisha in person was a wonderful pleasure to meet her in person yesterday.
That's great.
Thank you.
Joy to my heart.
Aisha, we will meet one day, I promise you. Because me and Mark are meeting soon, aren't we, Mark? So, you know. Aisha,
2 weeks. I think 2 weeks, bro. And
yeah. I'm up for it, bro. Aisha, stay healthy, all right? And no, I genuinely mean that. You know what I'm talking about. So, guys, all I can say is thank you very much for tonight. The chat has finally woken up. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it. So, if you could give us a like, share us with your social media, and come and join us next time for obviously heartfelt debate. Come along for the Big Sunday show next Sunday, or whenever I'm doing a watch along. You're all welcome. Take care of yourselves, and come on, you Gooners and you Gunners. That's all I can say.